Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Curbside Network. I am your host, Jay Kirby. Joining me now is a man from a legendary franchise, one near and dear to my heart for anyone that's ever watched the show or any of our Twitch streams, Sean C.W. Johnson, aka the Lightspeed Rescue Red Power Ranger. Sean, thank you so much for sitting down with me today. Thank you so much for this interview.
Oh, it's a pleasure, Jay. Thank you so much.
Now, it means the world to us on the show. It means the world to me personally. I didn't get to tell you. I'll show you when I talk about my sponsors, but I wore a special shirt for this interview that I think you'll appreciate. But as always, like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, follow our YouTube channel and our Twitch channel for all of our weekly streams, new episodes, new interviews coming to YouTube. And we are streaming every Friday for Astromore, our D&D and space adventure on our Twitch channel. Don't miss out on that. And none of this can be brought to you without our friends, Collected Comics and Games here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. They have two locations. They have everything your little nerdy hearts desire. They have Funkos, they have dice, they have books, they have minis, they have everything. Like half of my bookshelf behind me is from Collected. So shout out to them. Couldn't have done half of the things that we've brought to you guys without them. Of course, I brought up Astromore, I brought up our D&D streams. You can't have a D&D game without dice. So go check out our dice sponsors, ST-Way Gaming. Jason has worked very hard to bring you guys some of the best dice on the market, some of the best accessories. I myself, I rock a little dragon necklace every so many interviews that you guys have seen before. That was straight from him. So shout out to him. Shout out to his team. He is working tirelessly to bring you guys the best dice on the market. And of course, none of this can be brought to you without, some merchandise revenue. So shout out to our merchandise guys, Peach City Inc. And they're 100% custom made, pre-washed, pre-shrunk designs. I myself am rocking their Forever Red design tonight.
Nice.
You should be right about there, Mr.
Yeah,
Sean.
I am.
Um,
I know that guy.
yeah.
I know all those
Um,
guys, as a matter of fact.
don't worry, we'll get into that tonight. I have so many questions about that. But go to Peach City Inc. They're on Facebook, Instagram, and they have their own website. Like I said, pre-washed, pre-shrunk. This is one of the most comfortable shirts I own, so you owe it to yourself to go check them out, get yourself a custom shirt. And with that, the man of the hour, Sean, thank you so much for sitting down with me. Thank you for this time, for your time. I asked before if I could tell this story because it is a fascinating set of circumstances that brought this together. At least from my end, it truly was because the fans know I'm such a huge Power Ranger fan. I mean, you can see the helmet behind me. People have seen photos of me at Ranger Stop. I am a huge diehard Power Ranger fan. So we go to Ranger Stop. We get to do the press. I speak with you. I believe it was Friday before the show started. And I was like, hey, I'd like to interview you sometime this weekend if you have the time. Funny, because at least I remember it this way. You were a little hesitant, which is fair. Some random dude just showed up, be like, hey, do you want to do an interview with this guy you've never met? You were a little hesitant, which is completely understandable. I was like, I actually just did an interview with your co-star, Rhett Fisher, who has become a friend of the show. And you were immediately like, oh, well, if this guy's good with Rhett, then he's good with me. So I saw the light switch immediately. I was like, oh, thank goodness. You agreed to the interview. And then just through some circumstances outside of both of our controls, you weren't able to sit down with us over the weekend, which is totally fair. Few weeks go by, and I get an Instagram message from a profile that I don't immediately recognize, and I start reading, and it's from you. And not only did you apologize for not being able to do the interview, which, in my opinion, you didn't have to. You didn't have to go out of your way to apologize to just a young podcaster with not that many followers to, hey, sorry I couldn't be a man of my word on the weekend, and then explain to me that you not only didn't have to apologize, but did the legwork to find me, reaching out to your co-stars to find my podcast, to find my account, and then message me, which was mind-boggling to me. And I cannot say it just A, it speaks volumes of you. So thank you for that. And B, it still puts me in shock today that a ranger, 2 years ago, I was hoping for a Ranger interview, and now they're reaching out to me, and it's crazy to
Well,
think of out loud.
I appreciate it. I try to be a man of my word, and so I did genuinely feel bad that we didn't get to link up as promised after
Yes.
we met on Friday, and so I kind of saw it as channeling my inner Carter Grayson and doing my duty to try to track you down and reach back out. So I'm glad this is happening. It's later than we intended, but better late than never. So
Oh, absolutely. And once again, the interview means so much to me. We've gotten to, like I said before, we got to sit down with Rhett Fisher, once at a con and once for a long interview. So it's an honor to have more Rangers, more Lightspeed here on the show. So I love to always start my interviews with the most bare bones basic question. Where did you get your start in this wild business of Hollywood and television?
well, a good question. Well, I started doing theater when I was a kid. So I think it all started from the stage and started early high school, freshman year, really, and then went off to college, still doing theater. And while I was studying, ended up getting with an agent. I went to school, little school in the general Orlando area, and then got an agent in the area, a couple of them, and they were fantastic. And I started doing some commercial auditions and one thing led to another, and so that was my first kind of toehold in the business was doing commercial work and things like that, and that eventually led to television and film, and then it's a bit of a story, but got the audition for Lightspeed Rescue and was fortunate enough to land that role, and here we are today.
Yeah, catching what I would consider your big break as Lightspeed Red. So I have to ask because I did a little bit of research before the
Please.
interview. Um, what was it? Was acting the plan once you were out of college, or was that just something that you enjoyed and continued to do while working? Because I looked up, I believe if the internet has never given me the wrong information,
No,
right?
never. Nothing
Uh,
but truth on the internet.
uh, a triple major with a bachelor's degree and almost a 4.0 GPA.
So that's mostly accurate, not entirely accurate. I was a bit of a nerd in school, so did relatively well. The triple major thing isn't exactly accurate. It was close to a triple major. I did study theater psychology and philosophy. I won't bore you with the long details, but I ended up graduating with a hybrid degree with focuses on those three fields.
Wow.
But that having been said, yeah, it's funny. So acting was a passion. I mean, they talk about getting bitten by the theater bug, and in many respects, acting and it saved my life. I mean, it changed the course of, and not just independent of if I'd never been cast on Lightspeed Rescue or anything else. I mean, it did fundamentally changed the course of my life and who I was, because it just spoke to me. It became a bit of an addiction, to try to perform and to entertain and to get in other people's other character skins and try to bring those characters to life, tell stories and connect with an audience and that whole thing. But my trajectory from when I was a kid, I thought I was going to be a lawyer. And so that was the plan. And even in college, my senior year, I took the LSATs, and the full intent was I'm going to law school after I graduate. But the whole time I was still acting, and I think in my heart of hearts, I really wanted to pursue a life in entertainment. But the pragmatic part of me was like, look, law school just makes so much more sense. You go that route because, I mean, I guess everybody wants to be a rock star or play Major League Baseball, but then the way life tends to do, you get a hard dose of reality sent
Mm.
your way, and it's the odds just are stacked against you. But you know, I just loved performing, and I kind of my senior year I had to, as I was approaching graduation, kind of had to make a decision, and I ended up deciding to take maybe a year or so off and give the acting thing a shot, and could always go back to law school. And a lot of that was there's a whole lot of events that kind of were the Venn diagram of my life. Like things just kind of started happening. There's this nice little overlap, and that sent me down that path. But since we kind of touched on it with your shirt and all that, and how I got into it, I'll just give the story. So I
Yeah.
ended up getting after I had graduated. I had some, I'd been fortunate enough to have some luck while I was still in school with getting cast on some things. But after graduating, I ended up landing a role on a show called Safe Harbor that was filming in Florida, out in Jacksonville. And when I was on that show, I met one of the lead actors on that show, a gentleman by the name of Christopher Kamen Lee, who everybody in the Ranger
Yep.
universe would know as
Hmm.
Andros from In Space. And through him, I heard about Power Rangers. This was autumn of '99. I heard that they were trying to cast their next season and they were looking for a Red Ranger, and wanted to see if I was interested in auditioning. And so I did. I auditioned, and as they say, the rest is history. So
Excellent. So were you a fan of the series beforehand? Were you aware of the relevance? Because I know we talked in Rhett's interview that he actually auditioned for Carter and he was a huge fan of the show
right.
beforehand. So where was your we'll say connection with the franchise at that point?
So Rhett would have been an awesome Carter. That said, selfishly, I'm very glad he lost the role, and I think he did an excellent job as Ryan
Oh,
on the
absolutely.
on the series. But so I would love to say that I was a fan of Rangers before I auditioned. To be completely honest, I was not.
Mm.
I was, of course, familiar with the franchise. I mean,
Mhm.
at the time. It was enormously popular. Toy sales were through the roof. I mean, I, knew of Jason David Frank and Austin and, some of the original cast members, Walter and I mean, they just, Catherine, just everybody, Amy Jo. I mean, I could just name them all off. But, the franchise itself was, spoke for itself. I mean, everybody knew what Power Rangers
Mhm.
were. I mean, there were even, and I've mentioned this, I mean, like, I think it was Jingle All the Way, the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, where it was like
Yes.
Power Man. They was trying to get the action. I mean, it's just
Yep.
like pop culture just embraced Power Rangers. So it was impossible to miss. You'd have to be living under a rock to not know what Power Rangers was. But to be candid, I had not watched
Mhm.
any of the episodes, and in fact, my audition process happened so quickly that I want to say I got the audition material. I was living in Florida at the time because it's just where I was located. I got the audition material, I want to say on like a Monday from Los Angeles. I did a self tape on Tuesday, overnighted it to the offices in Los Angeles, the studio on Wednesday. I want to say they called on Thursday or Friday and said, "Hey, can you be out here on Monday for a screen test?" Um, Came out on again, I think it was a Monday for the screen test, and then that evening they're like, "Hey, congratulations, you need to be out here in Los Angeles next week Monday to start work." So it happened very, very
Wow.
quickly for me. But in between, I had a weekend, and I did catch on Saturday morning the I don't even remember which one it was, but it was Lost Galaxy, and so I
Mm.
watched one episode of Lost Galaxy just to have an idea of kind of the filming format and everything to have a sense of, what they were doing with the franchise at the time. But no, it was a big, long answer to a very, very short question. But I was intimately familiar. I shouldn't say intimately. I was very familiar with the Power Rangers franchise, but I had not been a fan of it at the time.
No, no, that makes sense. It seems like I've heard similar stories from other Ranger actors that they they knew of the cultural relevance or they had seen it on TV, but like there's actually a fairly decent, we'll say, percentage of Rangers that weren't diehard fans beforehand. This wasn't their dream job. It was just, oh hey, a steady acting gig that might get me on TV, and now it's blown up into what it is now.
Yeah.
um, so what was it like getting to portray? I mean, you basically as the Red Ranger are the lead. What was it like coming in as the Red Ranger, coming in as the lead character on a series that's fairly popular at this time in history?
I mean, so from a professional standpoint, as you kind of mentioned, I mean, it's just, when you're trying to, you're trying to make a living as an actor. I mean, any sort of consistent paycheck is like hitting the lottery. And so that in and of itself was just, amazing to be able to do. But, irrespective of the character and the color, we were filling some big shoes because of the popularity of the show. And I think we were all, I don't want to speak for the entire cast, but at least I was aware of the fact that, there was quite a fan base and that, I was stepping into some big shoes. And so was just trying to do, the best I could with the character and, what was given to me and what they wanted to pull off. But yeah, I love Carter. I feel like there's a lot of feel like I could identify with him, and I feel like I mean, everything starts with the writing. So hats off to the writers and the directors and the producers. I mean, it really is a team effort. Not just the castmates, but everything from lighting grips, dolly grips, and it's just everybody. It has to be a very well-oiled machine to be able to pull it off. And I was fortunate to work with such a great cast and crew. So.
No, absolutely. No, a fantastic cast. Like I've said before, we've had gotten the chance to meet and interview a handful of them, and that's they've all been fantastic.
Yeah, they're
Um,
amazing human beings. I mean,
oh
truly, like
yeah,
it's wicked talented. I mean, I'm still in awe of all of them. I mean, genuinely, they're amazing.
oh yeah. We've not had a bad interaction, especially from anyone from Lightspeed. Um,
Yeah, I hope so.
um, so my kind of going into my next question because you alluded to it a little bit. How much of Carter is you, and how much of you is Carter? Like, is there a lot of overlap with that character, or you guys completely separate?
No, I think there's a fair bit of overlap. And that's not to try to like elevate myself because I
Mm.
feel like Carter's a pretty remarkable character. But I think the writers do a really great job for what it's worth. They knew what they wanted to try to do with the season, but I do think that like especially once we got cast and they start seeing how we're interacting with each other and like our own personalities, they try to draw some of that out and then lean into the script and arcing with some of what we are, which helps makes us look better. But yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, I'm a little bit of the straight man, a little by the book. I mean, Carter,
Mhm.
I had so many people say that he's the Captain America of the
Yep.
Power Ranger franchise, and honestly, that's probably, again, not to talk myself up. I feel that's a little on brand with, kind of how I feel about a lot of it. So, um, I did try to draw. I mean, I've had a number of fans that have mistakenly thought that I was a fireman before getting cast on Power Rangers, which on the one hand, I'm like, that's amazing that they felt that I guess the portrayal was authentic to what a fireman would bring to the table, but I don't want to get accused of stolen valor. So I am not a fireman. Played one on television, and that's the extent of it. But I do come from a family, multi generations of military service, and so I felt like that sort of civic responsibility and giving back. I tried to tap into that sense of duty and honor and chain of command and everything and try to kind of lean Carter a little into what his role and responsibility would be within the team of Lightspeed. So
Oh yeah, and it says something because it Lightspeed Rescue is one of the first seasons where it's more military minded. It's more, you know, organized instead of just, you know, the hey, here's your five random heroes thrown
Right.
together, you know, but they
But
had
we had our careers, we had our
yeah.
occupations. I mean, paramedic and firefighter, and you know
Hmm.
that sort of thing. And so we were maybe a little bit older, you know, not high schoolers per se. And
Yeah.
yeah, I think they tried to do some different things, and just you know our identities also. You know, we're morphing out in the middle of you know the middle of
Yeah.
the downtown area, and so
Yep. The first season to do so. So
yeah,
I think only one of three, if I'm remembering correctly off the top of my head.
you'd know better
Um,
than I.
I know it's the first. I know that
Yes,
for a
yeah.
fact.
And I know it threw some fans. I hope
Yeah.
that it's aged well because I definitely had the some fans were like, cool, this is great, they're trying something different. And
Mm.
others I know were like, whoa, 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 this is messing up the canon in some respects. But I, you know, I'm glad we got to be the first to try that out. So
Well, absolutely. And speaking of your chain of command, you got to do a couple more personal episodes with Ron, aka Captain Mitchell.
yes.
What was it like working with him? What was it like getting to do some of those, you know, the specifically the ones that come to mind is Carter in the training simulation, and then Carter finding that Captain Mitchell. What spoilers for a show that's been out for a while, but Captain Mitchell was the hero that saved Carter as a kid. Like, what were those episodes like for
Wait,
you?
Captain Mitchell saved me. Um, so working with Ron Roget was the worst experience of my entire life. Um, No, he was great, and again, the whole cast was just amazing. I'm not saying that to like gush and all that, but they really were just you know so much fun to get in the sandbox with and all that. But yeah, I thought it was a great little kind of mini arc within the series. The fact that you know Carter was saved by this mysterious fireman when he was a kid and decided to dedicate his life in a way to give back to the community and be followed in those footsteps and became a fireman, and then to find out that you know, that gentleman turned out to be Captain Mitchell, who brought him into Lightspeed. I thought it was a nice little, you know, kind of button there, especially with, like you said, the train sequences. I think it was Trial by Fire was the one that I got ridiculed for,
Yes.
kind of not following his orders and, you
Hmm.
know, kind of reacting, you know, being a little, I can't say hot shot, but like you know not
A
following that chain of command, not doing
little more
what
Maverick than
yeah exactly
Iceman.
a little off yeah a little off the game plan
Mhm.
but yeah they were fun and you know there was I can't maybe it was Face from the Past. I wish I could remember.
Mm.
I should know these titles better and stuff like that, but the one where we were you know, training, and he was kind of giving me a hard time. We're both in like sweatsuits.
Hmm.
It was like Hollywood sign was in the background,
Yeah.
I think,
Yep.
and all that. But they didn't, I think, show that on camera because it just destroyed the whole Mariner Bay. But anyhow, I've got a photo. I should post it at some point. But I have a photograph of us shooting that one with the Hollywood sign in the background. But nevertheless, yeah, it was fun to have that fatherly figure of sorts um, to to work within the framework of the season.
Oh, excellent. And then of course you know the season ends, fantastic finale, and then I believe you guys come back for Time Force.
Yep.
Uh,
Team up episode there.
yep. One of the only, at least the one in my memory, one of the only times that you guys have 12 Rangers, because it's usually the sixth Ranger doesn't get added in. So
Yeah.
as a fan of the show, I was like, oh, they got all 12 of them finally.
Bring in the extra
Um,
firepower.
yeah, but you guys come back for Time Force, and then of course you get called back for Wild Force.
Yes.
You get called back for my favorite Power Ranger episode, you know, without any shame, and arguably one of the best episodes, Forever Red.
Yes.
What was that like? What was being on the set like? What was interacting with, you know, some of the more historic guys from the
Yeah.
show?
It was an amazing experience. I mean, I love the script. I'm thrilled with the number of fans that I've met who have mentioned Forever Red as like peak Power Ranger. It like that was, the Mount Everest sort of moment.
Mhm.
Everything just, coming together. But at this point, as a fan of the show, having
Mhm.
been on it and having done the team ups, there were still these legends like Austin and Jason David Frank, who I hadn't had the chance to meet. I mean, we had the Lost Galaxy team up, and I
Mhm.
knew Christopher Kamen Lee from, as I mentioned before, getting
Mhm.
introduced. So like some of the more recent cast members, I had a personal, relationship with. We knew one another or had worked together. But to be able to meet those guys, again, those big shoes that I had stepped in to try to fill at one point, was just, the fan in me was, thrilled to meet them, and the professional in me was also just, this is just going to be a fun experience to film, and I knew that. At the time, the fans were going to just love what we were doing, getting us all together. I will say I underestimated how long the franchise was going to continue on, which is a blessing. I'm thrilled that it's gone on as long as it has, and I hope that
Mhm.
it has life in it yet. But that Forever Red has had so much staying power over the years, and so
Mhm.
again, at the time, I knew it was going to be special, but I underestimated how important and how special it was going to be to the fandom over so many years. So
Oh
it
yeah.
was a remarkable experience.
And so, and of course, you got to come back for
Super Mega
Megaforce.
Force,
Yep,
yeah.
Super Megaforce, the legendary battle. Um, the running joke between myself and my friends is anytime we see clips from Forever Red or from the legendary battle, it's like, I'm gonna tell my kids this was Avengers Endgame, and it's just
Yeah.
all the Rangers showing up at once. The
Yep.
original on your left moment. Um, but I have to ask because it kind of literally happened to me right before the interview. Um, before I do interviews, especially with people that I've watched on TV, and I not to call anyone out, but I grew up with, and having such fond memories. Did you ever, at least with theater, with TV, with movies, did you ever have anxieties or get stage fright beforehand?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I- in that case, yeah, as far as like
Mhm.
theater film and all that stuff, absolutely. I mean, I think that's probably a universal, trait for a lot of, a lot of folks, depending on whatever, field they're in, whether it's, a
Mhm.
big game coming up or a competition or, having to speak publicly. I mean, um, but I think it's a matter of like how you channel it. But with auditions for sure, I am a weird. I love the audition process. I
Mhm.
actually, especially in-person auditions. There's less of those these days in the industry.
Mhm.
But like, I just performing in front of people is great. But yeah, you definitely
Mhm.
get the nerves sometimes. And whether it's in between takes or auditions, or you're about to, the curtain's going up and you're about to head out on stage. You can
Mhm.
definitely get the nerves and the jitters and the butterflies and all that. But you try to just harness it and run with it. Although I do remember one time
Mhm.
I mean I've had it a bunch. I'm going to go off on a tangent here
Yeah,
and
go
stuff. But
for
there
it,
was one time
please.
when I was a kid. I was
Mhm.
a senior in high school and had the opportunity to perform a play, an original work on a rather large stage, and it was the biggest stage I had ever performed on. I forget. I want to say the auditorium held maybe 2,000 people. I mean, it was a pretty big venue. And I remember curtain goes up, lights went from black. They came up and stuff like that, and start the play. And I remember like kind of catching the size of the how many people are out there out of the corner of my eye. And as much as I want to just be locked into what I'm doing as a character in the lines, just that brief moment of catching it. And then I had to like pour something on stage onto like a glass, out of like a
Mhm.
bottle into a glass. And my hand was shaking. So it was splashing all over the place. And I could see the other cast members are looking at me wide eyed. And so, yeah, I mean, it gets the best of us at one point or another. But I think it's a natural human trait.
Yeah. No, I don't know if we got to talk about this at Ranger Stop or not, but outside of podcasting and outside of my 9 to 5 job, I'm also a pro wrestler.
Whoa, get out of
Yeah,
town.
yeah. I've been doing it
Thank you for not
since
headlocking me or suplexing or
no
anything.
one went through any tables at Ranger Stop.
Next
And
time.
right, right. Um, but I very much I've been doing it probably since 2012, however long that is. That's when I
Amazing.
debuted.
13 years. So do you
Yes.
get nervous? Let me
Oh,
flip the script.
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's where I was going is even if it's a match in front of like 10 people, I don't have nerves until I'm literally standing right behind the curtain. Music's about to hit and I can feel the jitters in my stomach. I can feel my
Yep.
hands starting to, tremble a little bit. And then I don't know what it is, but the second that I come through the curtain and I see the crowd, it's all gone. And
Yeah, that's
it's just game mode at that point.
yep. Yeah, I think I would say I have a similar experience. It's the kind of the pre-game, so to speak, where
Mhm.
you're kind of thinking about it. But that's awesome, man. Yeah, you
Yeah.
didn't tell me that.
I
We're gonna have an offline. You're gonna have to
Oh
fill me in
yeah,
on
I'll
some of
tell
that
you
more.
all
But
about it. I'll send you all more, but I will say because I love to talk about it in interviews. Um, my wrestling gear is the original Red Ranger suit. Like I have a singlet that
oh,
looks like
nice.
Jason's gear, and I have a vest that looks like the Dragon Shield.
Oh, super cool.
So,
Maybe one of these days we can get you the Lightspeed Rescue, Raccoon City look, and
yes,
it's kind of like an alter personality. You can bring it to life.
I'm not against it. I'm not against any of it. Um, but I bring that up specifically because a I really enjoy and I really try to champion might be a strong word, advocate for mental health and mental health awareness. And so seeing people like yourself, like other rangers, and seeing how you guys deal with, just regular people stuff. Because I know that I have put so many rangers up on pedestals. And then I remember, messaging you or I message Rhett, and I'm like, oh yeah, they're just people. They're just regular humans that still have to get, they still get nervous and they
Oh
still
yeah.
have to do events in front of people. Um, and so I that's why I bring that up. And I also to transition to the next question is how is that how does interacting with the fans all these years later at conventions. I mean, you just came from a con this weekend, actually near my hometown, which was ironic timing.
Yeah. I
Um,
planned it for you to be no.
um, but what is it like for you interacting with fans all these years later, and how does it feel to be at these big cons where basically everyone's looking at you?
You
You
know,
you are the
it's
attractions.
humbling, it's flattering. We have the best fans. I mean, it honestly, the show has meant so much to so many people. And one of the
Mhm.
things I love about the longevity of the show and the different casts and stuff. I feel like every fan of Power Rangers can find that one, maybe more, but that one
Mhm.
character that really speaks to them. Like I can identify with X from,
Mhm.
Dino Thunder, from, Wild Force, from Lightspeed, whatever it might be. And you know, um, speaking for myself as an artist, connecting with the audience, that's the name of the game. That's what you want to do is to try to share your art and to try to make a connection, make somebody feel something. And anytime a fan comes up and just says, "Hey, thanks for being part of my Saturday morning," or "Thanks for being a part of my childhood," or I've had people say, "Lightspeed helped get me through a hard time." You're talking about
Mhm.
mental health. I mean, that has again been incredibly humbling to know that you can have that kind of impact on people. And I also have had quite a few folks come up to me over the years mentioning how they are a firefighter now and they were inspired by Carter when they were a kid, and they're like, I want to do that. And like that's absolutely amazing. I mean, they're the ones that are the real heroes. I mean, just pretended to be, somebody who, fought demons and put on spandex and morphed and that sort of deal. But,
Mhm.
it somehow connected enough with somebody who decided, hey, I want to have a life of service, giving back to
Mhm.
my community. And it's just remarkable. So, but we really do have the best fans. Like they're just amazing people. And it's always an honor to get the opportunity to meet them and hear their
Yeah.
stories.
Oh no, absolutely. And so I gotta ask, do you have any whether it be best fan stories or best moments at like a convention that you love to talk about? Um
I think I probably just did to be honest. The ones that, just tell me about like either the hard times that they got through
mhm,
or, how they have decided to make a life of public, service
mhm.
because of, seeing Lightspeed and what they did and all that is just, just amazing. So
I know. Um I Now I can't give too much credit because it's not all me, but we also on the podcast here we stream our D&D a D&D game to our Twitch, which I talked about at the beginning of the broadcast. But earlier this year we did a Power Ranger tabletop game.
nice. Yeah.
We are officially affiliated with Renegade Studios now. That just happened, so we're still very happy and humble about that.
Very
But I
cool.
know that a lot of us grew up watching the show. And so we all picked little bits and pieces from different seasons as our inspiration. I know, like mine specifically, I got to be the Red Ranger. Uh, I didn't. I was willing to let someone else do Red, but no one jumped on it. So I was like, please let me be Red Ranger. Please, please, please. So like I took a little bit of Jason and then I took like a little bit of Sky and Jack from SPD. Like my character definitely, if he had progressed further in the story, he would have end up working for SPD. And I know specifically my buddy Cody, he played our Blue Ranger. He took a lot of inspiration, his character from Lightspeed Rescue.
Yeah.
And so I know
Chad's a
that,
great character and
oh yeah.
Mike's just amazing.
And so I know that not if, we are currently working on season 2 right now. We've got some things in the works that we're trying to get out and we'll call it pre-production. But I definitely think if we progress that character further, he's going to end up being part of Lightspeed, which is
Nice.
definitely speaks something from you guys just due to that character, due to the inspiration that he had for that character. So, at least I hope I spoke well enough for him. He's gonna watch this
Well,
later
I
and
wish him
give
luck.
me a hard
So
time.
go all the way.
We'll get him a jacket one of these days.
Yeah.
Um, which speaking of which, I assume you got to keep yours because
I
I
did.
think
Yep.
all of the rest of your cast members did. Is
We
there
did.
anything else you got to keep from set?
I would love to say that I got to keep a set of spandex, but that was not the case. Although they went up for auction recently, and I was outbid.
Uh,
Yeah, so they did give us one of the Lightspeed jackets. So I have that. I actually have the red thermal long sleeve shirt that Carter wore almost the entire season. A pair of the pants,
nice.
the jeans, the black belt, the huge Kenneth Cole boot-like shoes that he wore. So I got the full shebang. Got the director's chair that I used when we were on set on location. Just resting. Couple other knickknacks here and there. Morpher that
Nice.
was screen worn, and I also got it was I think in the I guess the one of the bays in the
Hmm.
aqua base where like near where the indoor pool. So the
Mhm.
soundstage was incredible where they did the interiors of the aqua base, and we actually had like
Yeah.
a giant jacuzzi that was full up and that whole deal. But
Mhm.
and one of the walls in there they had the shield, the number one shield
Mhm.
with, the V sort of thing for Lightspeed. That was Carter's, made out of wood. I, got that and I have it
Oh,
hanging in my garage. So
that's so cool.
yeah,
That's awesome.
I don't
I
have the
think
Zord, unfortunately, or the yellow Hummer. That would have been
yeah.
nice, but
No, I did see your pic on Instagram recently of you posing next to the Lightspeed base.
yeah, yeah.
Which was very cool.
This is
But no, I think
pre everything being CG, where
yeah.
they actually used models and all that. Yeah, this right behind me. Yeah.
Yep. But no, I think that's legit one of the coolest things that someone's gotten to keep from the set is that shield. I mean, you basically can cosplay as Carter whenever you want.
Yeah.
You can show up fully decked out. If you want to listen, I'm going to tell you right now, if you want to watch a bunch of nerds faint, just show up as Carter full geared to a con and you'll see everyone drop.
I'll just roll
Uh
into San Diego Comic Con next
yeah.
year or New York and just walk the halls and see if I can
See
get
if it
pictures with
see
anybody.
if anyone was like, "Oh, that's a really cool cop." It's him. um so I always like to ask um actually I got to ask mostly at Ranger Stop with the series kind of now not so much being up in the air because there's talks of a new series. There's talks of a possible reboot. What is something that you personally would like to see for the future of the franchise?
Um, I would like to see Carter Grayson reconstitute the Aqua base,
Ooh.
pull together our Lightspeed team to recruit a new team of Lightspeed Rangers in order to fight off a new set of demons that have occupied Mariner Bay. And
Ah,
yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's the sky's the limit on what they could do. I mean, I do think that the property itself, I mean, as they've had with the comic book spin-offs and
mhm,
Shattered, just all of the things. It's so ripe after all these years too. I mean, they could. I mean, there have been rumors about all this type of stuff, but I mean, they could go live action in several different ways.
mhm,
They could mature it up. They could keep one version, more campy. I mean, it's they Marvel and I mean, I had mentioned this somewhat recently to someone else. Like within the Star Wars franchise, you can get stuff that's like Andor, that kind of
mhm,
tone, but then you can get other stuff that's much more quirky.
mhm.
That can, I mean, I love Star Wars, but like there's a lot that can be done there. And you've got, yeah, exactly. There you go. Exactly. And you can get animated spin-offs of Rangers. And so I think there's just so much that they could do with it that I hope for the fans. And then if I could be involved, even better. But but
Yeah.
I hope for the fans, that they can keep it going. And I think they just have a lot of avenues, and they just, hopefully the folks um, that are in charge of the property and exploring development and all that realize that they kind of have a gold mine there, and they have an enormous fan base worldwide that would love to see more Power Rangers in the future. So
Yeah, no, absolutely. Um, so that raises a question because we're actually we're going to be interviewing within the next few weeks a Power Ranger fan film, Bloodlines of the Grid, which
yeah.
is Christopher's series that he's writing and helping direct and things of that nature. Would you ever, could you ever see, let me phrase it like that, could you ever see yourself coming back as Carter for a fan series like that? If, well, let's say the situation was right.
I was gonna say, yeah, I was gonna say, depend on the situation. The devil's always in
Mhm.
the details, but certainly something I would love to get back in the skin of Carter again. I mean, it was like Super Mega Force when that happened. It was kind of
Mhm.
an unexpected, outreach. But being able to suit up again was a blast, and it was like a family reunion. So if that could happen again in some form or fashion, it would certainly be something I'd be interested in doing.
Excellent. Um, well, as we start winding down here, uh, what are some upcoming events you have that you'd like to share with the interwebs here? What's the next con on the horizon for?
So the next one's going to be Ranger Stop in Orlando.
Mm.
coming up here in a couple weeks in November. And then there's several others in the works. I'm going to be out in Philly in the spring for a show
Yep.
out there. And yeah, are you going to be out?
I am not gonna be able to make
Okay,
that one, but we're friends with the owner.
nice. Yeah.
So
So
her Go Go Ranger Station. Oh my goodness, I
yes,
almost
Ranger
forgot.
Station. No, no,
Uh,
yep.
but yeah,
I would have
Ranger
saved you.
Station in Philly. We're friends with the owners, so we're hardcore supporting her, sharing what we can, getting the word out
Nice.
as best we can.
Yeah, so I'm definitely looking forward to seeing those folks. And honestly, I've been in touch with several other shows, possibly later this year, but mostly 2026. And so, like I said, it's always amazing to get an opportunity to meet fans and share stories. And so, trying to get out there more. I've definitely kept a lower profile in recent years, but it's always amazing having those interactions. So I'm hoping to do more of it in the year ahead.
Excellent. Well, as we wind down, is there anything you'd like to say to the fine folks out there on the interwebs?
No,
Anything you'd
I
like to
love you
say to the
guys.
fans?
Thanks for the support now and years past and hopefully in the future. And my apologies if I titled an episode wrong or misspoke. Sometimes shooting from the hip, I make errors. So be
Hmm.
kind, forgive me. I am a bit of a bonehead sometimes, but yeah, thank you for the interview, the opportunity.
Yeah,
It's
no.
been awesome getting the chance to talk, and again, thanks to all the fans for everything all these years.
It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you so much, Sean. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening, for watching here today. As always, like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, type a little bell on your YouTube app so you never miss the uploads. Um, I'm gonna try to get this out as quick as possible. I'm technically on vacation right now, so I can get this thing turned around and posted a lot faster than I usually can. So hopefully this will be out by the end of the week, which means check in on Astromore tonight. Fingers crossed if he gets this posted for Friday. uh, Sean, thank you so much. It's been
No,
an
thank you,
honor to
Jay.
have you on the show. To add
Hopefully, we can do it
a
again one of these days.
Oh,
Be great.
absolutely. Would love that. But it's always an honor to have a ranger on the show. It's a pleasure to check a name off the list of rangers we'd always love to have met and have on here. So thank you for that. Thank you everyone for watching, and thank you for stopping Curbside.